Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to an exciting day at the Rift in the Nordic Championship 2018 in League of Legends, where Roligan and nDurance are right now tied 1-1 with crazy game number 1, crazy game number 2, and we are back for more madness in game number 3.
Absolutely. This series has had some very interesting development because we saw a dominating performance from nDurance in the first one, just finishing out the game really cleanly, 20 kills to 3. And then in the second one, Roligan just flipped a switch. Alec on the Vladimir popping up huge. Croxy on the Tristana with like full attack speed with 3 items because you have an Ardent Nidalee healing you, like keeping you topped off. Really big in those team fights. So really excited to see what Game 3 is gonna tell, and I can't really make a prediction because these games have been so different. nDurance have been dominating, Roligan have been dominating, one game each, so I have no idea what's gonna happen.
I mean, these are like the adapting teams we're talking about, where one team can look so dominant 1 second, and all of a sudden they look like the complete underdogs in the second game, just because the enemy team, they adapt and they learn. And the funniest thing is that you and I, we did not believe at all in Alex's choice to go for Vladimir. And here's what happens. Vladimir is banned in Game 3 because he was so dominant on it. Together with Croxy as well on the Tristana. I mean, Croxy was kind of like non-existent in Game 1. For Game 2, instead it's Acitor who's instead not existent either. These AD carries are having such a hard time to find like a spot where they can actually be relevant for the game. Either you're the hyper carry or you're basically a nobody.
For sure, and speaking of AD carries, Xayah is the ban. Varus, Tristana, and Caitlyn is the big 3 still open. Let's see if nDurance chooses to ban one of them, maybe take away the Caitlyn. That has been the highest priority, but there is the Tristana instead, so I think we're going to be seeing a Caitlyn versus Varus matchup here, if I had to predict the AD carries.
Yeah, I really hope to see something like that. I mean, Caitlyn is definitely one of those champions that we're going to see either banned or picked for every single game, but she's still, like, she's not that strong that you want to ban her, but she's, like, very consistent as a marksman. And Tristana, of course, obviously not going to be allowed into Croxy's hands again after last game. So Roligan eSport going with the Caitlyn first pick, and now it's up to nDurance Gaming to respond.
I think you can pick away a jungler and a top laner here. That would be my choices. So get a safe top laner for non-disco, something like a Sion, something like a Cho'Gath. He played a good Sion last game. That is unless you're looking to get a top lane, carry for him. He showed a great clad in game number 1. Of course, it's banned here in game number 2. So if you want to get non-disco on a carry, that is definitely a possibility. But there is the Galio, which is a very high prioritized champion on this patch, 8.4 in the LCS. But I don't think we've been seeing him at all in this tournament.
And I think Galio is like one of those champions that is so difficult to play as a team. Like all of these like big roaming champions or like big global champions are really hard to play, but nDurance actually made it work very well in Game 1. They've had champions like Talia banned against them, like these, or rather banned Talia, like these roaming different kind of champions because they themselves want to have the big map pressure. So I think like this is the third kind of composition we're going to see from nDurance Gaming that they have been practicing, and all of the comps we have seen so far, like, revolve around that global pressure. Although in Game 2, with the Shen providing global pressure, Touch really didn't make it happen.
Absolutely did not impress in that situation. The Corgi comes in as not a counter pick to the Galio in the sense that you're going to be killing the Galio over and over, but a counter pick in the sense that you're able to get away from all of his pressure, and you also have a lot of wave clear. You can farm up safely. Galio is not going to be threatening to kill you in that 1v1 matchup in mid lane. And there is the Camille coming in, so top lane trio getting picked up, and these are 3 big melee champions with hard CC that likes to dive in on the enemy backline. So nDurance have a very clear goal with this team comp. I also really like the Galio together with the Camille because Camille can jump in towards the backline, like has such a far range on those jumps, and then the Galio coming in on top of that.
Yeah, I really like to see nDurance with these big like wombo combo engage comps, because I think that's where they really excel, when they can pick which fights they want to have. At the same time, there's a lot of disengage potential yet again in these champions. So I really like to see the mobility champs in the hands of nDurance. On the other hand, there's a lot of mobility as well for Roligan eSport as they are adapting against this playstyle of nDurance gaming with the Sejuani again for Tronen, and now it's Alec with the Corki. I mean, Corki is also like one of these super hyper assassin-like mid laners, can be, but can also be this like backline poking champion as well, depending on how you play. And also, of course, he has the ability to, with the special delivery, to go with for the rotations on the map, something that nDurance gaming is quite worrying about. So here comes the Warriors ban for Roligan eSport versus the Morgana ban and the Sion ban from nDurance gaming.
I love targeting the AD carry pool here for Roligan. I was predicting the Varus to come in as the third pick for nDurance, but now skipping out on the AD carry, we are moving far down the tier list. We're talking something like Kog'Maw, Sivir, maybe even a Kalista if you're feeling frisky, as the picks were here for Azetor, and that is not really the high-tier AD carries. There is a reason that Saya, Tristana, Varus, and Caitlyn have been the ADs that we've been seeing so far on the stream, and Azetor will have to go far down, like deep down in the basement, to find his AD in this game.
Yeah, this is a weird pick right now for him. Bottom lane. We're going to see which ADC he's going to opt to go with. Of course, he can go with the Kog'Maw, but so immobile in comparison to the rest of his team, is going to be left alone in the back line, where something easily can find and out DPS him. Like a Corki could easily just pick off a Kog'Maw that sits alone. Of course, as soon as Braum's Unbreakable is gone, now we see the Taric coming in from Roligan eSport together with the Jax.
That's a top lane Jax. You should be seeing him in the jungle.
Yeah. That is a very interesting thing to see. A Jax up for the top lane, and now finally with the Marksman for Azetor, together with the Braum, of course. Sivir getting those procs off with the concussive blows on Braum is a decent ADC, but again, like Azetor on Saya last game, with the short-range ADC, had a really hard time finding the positioning needed to even get any DPS off in the fights. So I am quite worried with all of these target bans against him versus the Caitlyn. Will he be able to have an impact?
I think this is not a bot lane focused game for nDurance. Sivir is there for good consistent wave clear and then the on the hunt. The ultimate that is going to be enabling the Jarvan, the Camille, and the Galio, because it's so clear to everyone what the team comp of nDurance wants to do. Go super hard, super deep, find the engages and just team fight over and over again, forcing the fights with the Sivir. I would have liked to see Sivir or the Kalista here both have the ability to, in different ways, force the fights. I do like the Sivir here, as it is not as punished by the Caitlyn early. Still will have a hard laning phase early on, but the team comps makes a lot of sense for nDurance.
Yeah, absolutely. On the other hand, Roligan going with the Caitlyn and the Taric bottom lane. Not too sure about the Taric pick, as Taric is, of course, very strong when you go for the engage and you have a sticky composition that can really just go onto the enemy team's backline. You are invulnerable for a period of time, and you can easily pick them off before that invulnerability is on cooldown again. And then, of course, there are no DPS threats to worry about. But looking at such a huge engage comp with so much pick potential, with so much burst potential coming out from nDurance into a Taric, you're going to have to be very worried that you're going to get CC'd and bursted before you're even able to use your Cosmic Radiance. That is a huge threat level onto Keaton, who of course has been playing well, but still, Taric can really backfire like that.
It's going to be a very interesting mind game to see later on in this game, where the Cosmic Radiance can be baited out. So maybe you'd like do the first part of the hookshot with the Camille, and then the Cosmic Radiance goes down, and then you can jump back out. So like trying to bait the ulti or to get the burst down before the ulti can trigger. It's going to be an interesting mind game, but I do like the team comp. I mean, I said that I like the team comp of nDurance. It makes a lot of sense, but I think the team comp of Roligan, I mean, after the first 3 picks from nDurance, they knew exactly what kind of team comp they would go up against. So I think their team comps makes a lot of sense to counter out that. There's the disengage from the Sejuani, there's the disengage from Taric, 2 safe damage dealers in the Corki and the Caitlyn. What I'm not 100% sure about is the Jax. I mean, yes, it's a good 1v1 matchup against the Camille because it can use the Counter-Strike to get away from the boosted auto attacks of the Camille Q. But other than that, a split-pushing champion like the Jax is not really what you want against a hard engage comp. Because when Jax is off in the side lane, that's just going to be 5 people Avengers running down mid, catching out Roligan in a 5 versus 4 situation. So split-pushing versus hard engage, I'm not a big fan.
No, and also interesting to note that Nihus actually has been losing out in his laning versus Nondisk a lot. Like, even when they were ahead as a team, Nihus still fell behind. And he's the kind of player that we hear a lot about, being the strong carry top lane, being that high talent. And I do believe it's absolutely true. But in the team of Roligan, he really has not been able to prove himself as that player still. Playing tanks, playing carries, he still has been like faltering quite a bit versus Nonodisk. So here he's picking up the Jax and really just, you know, throwing out the gauntlet and showing that he is able for the 1 versus 1. And he's really gonna take this matchup and gonna fight it out for real.
Yeah, and this is not something that at least I was expecting in this top lane tank-focused meta. They like to play this like Cho'Gath, Scions, Ornns, Maokais, just to be able to stay safe in the top side. With you having less wards now, with the removal of Tracker's Knife, jungle ganks are scarier, and dying as a top lane carry is much more detrimental than dying as a top lane tank. Also with the strength of an item that's called Banner of Command, tanks have become even stronger as well, so that's why we've been seeing a lot of tanks in the top lane. But 2 top lane carries are going to be going at each other, and with a quick gank potential coming in from Heku, Nihus is staying very safe though.
Nondisk with the ward control and pushing means Heku goes in for the invade. He finds Tronen, does not have smite, and Tronen has his up, so no problem getting this Gromp. Heku just into the... Oh, Heku actually steals the Gromp, and that is big. That is a big problem in the early game stages of the jungle if your enemy can just sneak it like that.
Yeah, very greedy play from Tronen there, who had the smite available, chose not to go for it. And in the end, not the biggest deal, but a small advantage for Jarvan means that he will unlock the level 6 quicker. And level 6 is so big for both of these junglers. Improves their ganking by so much, and if we're going to be seeing Heku and Tronen like shadowing each other on towards which side of the map they're playing on, that Gromp steal could prove to be very important if we're seeing, for example, both of the junglers going bot lane and then Heku being level 6 while Tronen is level 5. I don't think it will end up having a huge impact, but you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Also not just talking about the jungler, speaking about the bot lane as well, as Croxy and Keaton are pushing a lot up. A few lost hits for Croxy, as Croxy was the big carry for last game. We're gonna see what will happen with that, as Nihus now is struggling a bit. He has lost a lot of HP, 0 stacks left on his potion, as he's being pushed in under the turret. And Nandi still has 2 stacks left, so it's no problem at all. It's just being up there harassing and denying Nihus every single last hit.
You can see the big damage coming in from the Comet that the Camille's like to run in the top lane. You can also see the mana flow band helping out with the sustain and really putting on the hurt onto Nihus. Tronen is here though. I don't think Naniska knows this, but if he is an experienced top laner, he will not use that hook shot to go aggressive under the enemy tower when you don't know where the enemy jungler is.
Yeah, Tronen was spotted on a ward seconds earlier. So Nanis knew that he was around at least, and knowing the timing of the camps. He has a lot of control up top lane. He's up 12 CS on Nihus. That is almost two full waves.
2 waves and the TP, which could prove to be important as Heku makes his way towards the top lane, has the vision in the river, and if Tronen goes for this, here we go!
Tronen is caught out, but at the same time, Nanisk, wow, he's so low, flashing away! The stun is going to hit him, but Tronen does not get the auto attack off, and Nanisk still alive, using the refillable potion to stay alive, and at the same time, Heku picks up first blood.
Such a close 2v2 engagement. Heku had the XP advantage, and that is what we talked about. Level 5 versus, I believe, level 4 for Tron, and maybe the Gromp decided that fight after all.
Maybe, well, that was it. Maybe not, but after the smoke cleared, that was the first blood going over to Heku. And with the Gromp, that is starting to become a little bit of a lead that is just only going to snowball and make it even harder for Nihus up top lane.
And looking at this very strong top lane trio that they've got in the Jarvan, Camille, Galio, these small advantages can really be snowballed further and further, because these three picks are all about forcing the fights, going with the heavy engagements, especially after you hit level 6 on all three of them. So with a small advantage, they were going to be able to snowball that a lot better than if they would be playing, say, a tank top laner and a safe mage in the mid lane.
And Tronen, like, in game 1 fell behind, in game 2 was much stronger, and now in game 3 he's like falling behind a little bit again. Alec though on Corki is looking very confident handling his mid lane and might be able to start making things happen when he starts to get the roams off.
Yeah, speaking of roams though, Yamaru has the hero's entrance available and clearing out the mid lane to great effect with the sustain coming in from the catalyst of Aeons as well as all of the Galio abilities. There are some good vision down on the side of Roligan though, so they know where Yamaru is going, and that is so important when you're going up against this Galio. When he has his ultimate available, it's almost like a pseudo TF ulti that you really need to stay careful with. So Yamaru not able to utilize the Galio offensively yet. Could be looking towards the top side though. That is where I would be looking, because nDurance is having a field day up against Nihus, 61 CS to 33.
Yeah, he is winning this 1v1 no problem, and also of course with a lot of help from Heku, who has been roaming around top lane a lot, and now is now going up for this fight. He misses the hook shot, no problem, still with the ultimate follow-up together with Heku. That is a quick pickup, and another kill going over to nDurance as Nihus is struggling to stay in the game now.
Very good attempt right there. No teleport for Nihus, and a huge wave is crashing into the tower. So this is gonna when CS getting missed out on.
Flash being interrupted still with the Glacial Fissure. Azure not in position to DPS on Croxy. And Croxy is turning back onto Touch. So Croxy and Touch and Azure not gonna get the kill down bottom lane, but that was a very scary situation for Keaton as he had to flash out and use all of his summoner spells at the same time.
Yeah, 3 summoners used on both sides though, so no one really coming out hugely on top right there, but we can see the top lane still being the big story. nDisco, he carried game 1 for nDurance. He's right now up 1200 gold at 9 minutes. Absolutely a huge advantage for him. It's going to go towards that strong Camille build with the Trinity Force, and especially with an item such as Trinity Force, which both these top laners are building, actually getting the completion there is so important compared to a lot of other items because of how much built-in synergy there is within the Trinity Force. It's such a huge power spike, and if you have a Triforce up against, say, a Phage Nasheen, you're just going to be able to punish that 1v1 so incredibly hard.
Oh, Alec is hovering around top lane together with Tronen. Is this going to be a tower dive? It is nDisc now 1 versus 3, caught by the Glacial Prison and immediately deleted by Alex. So finally Nihus getting some well-deserved help from the rest of his team, as nDisc was just getting too cocky up in the top lane. Should have expected that roam, might have just decided to go with it. Maybe wanted to try to outplay, didn't have his ultimate either. So first turret is going to go with the solo goal to Nihus. Going to get something back at least in his lane versus nDisc, and of course with a little bit of a lucky Infernal Dragon for nDurance down bottom lane, as this is the second time I believe they've gotten the first Infernal Dragon in this series.
I do believe so as well, and I think that is a great decision for Roligan right there, giving up the Infernal to stay back in the top lane. I think at that point you really had a big choice to make. Either you just leave Nihus and say, you're going to be losing the 1v1 regardless, let's just get advantages on the rest of the map. But instead they took the decision of ganking for him, sending multiple people there, and most importantly giving him solo gold on the tower. 650 gold in the pocket of Nihus from that means that the gold in the top lane is almost equalized. which is really important. Also got to question the answer there from nDurance. Only got the Infernal when the enemy got the top lane kill as well as the tower, so I'm not sure if that was worth it for nDurance. Roligan starting to come back after a disastrous start in the top lane.
Yeah, again, I'm not quite sure about the Jax pick into the Camille. Because even though Jax, of course, has the Counter-Strike and such, Camille's harass together with the Arcane Comet, it's just so strong. It's really difficult to handle. Tronen being forced to flash away from the Glacial Fissure. Off touch, a little bit worried of the follow-up with the Heroes. Heroic Entrance or Heroes Entrance?
Heroes, I believe it's called.
Heroes Entrance from Jameros, who did not dare to hold on to the flash there still. Tronen has been doing a good job as nOnDisc up top lane. Now, as you mentioned, it's not quite as far ahead as earlier, but still 40 CS up versus Nihus and still pushing.
Solo gold in the first tower is doing work though. Only 500 gold down at the moment, but Yamaru, we have been seeing him on Karma 2 games in a row, not utilizing that TP, not utilizing the globals too well. So far, no use of the Gallia ultimate, the Hero's Entrance, which is really why you're picking him up this early on. You've got the consistent wave clear to push out the wave and then roam and use the ulti. No use of it so far though. I think they're looking towards the top side, but they don't quite dare to go for it without the proper vision in the enemy jungle. Tronen could come in at any time, and tower diving, even if you're 3v2, is really scary on towards Jackson and Sejuani.
Yeah, I understand their decision, but at the same time, I don't like to see nDurance hesitate as much as they are right now. Also, nOnDisc up there with a little bit of a bad trade. Going in now with the ultimate together with Hauke, but here is the follow-up as Tronen just arrived on time, and Nihus jumps away. After waiting for such a long time to come top lane, Heku is there and immediately gets counter-ganked by Tronen, who now really showing why we've been talking so much about this jungler.
Yeah, we talked about the junglers shadowing each other, and that is exactly what you want to do in this matchup. As Sejuani, you won't be able to keep up with the Jarvan on the ganks, on the jungle clears, but you will be able to counter-gank really well, and that's exactly what he did right there. Great vision, great game sense, and Roligan are starting to get a bit of a gold lead right now, 500 gold up, and that is not what I was expecting to say when nOnDisc had a 50 CS lead up top.
No, absolutely not. nOnDisc, I've been playing this 1 versus 1 very well. And a lot of times we've been talking about like Heku and nOnDisc, especially in game 1, how well they played and the synergy they had. Right now, we just don't see it. nOnDisc kind of just pushes solo, and then all of a sudden there comes Heku when he's not quite in a good position, not really a tower dive, not really anything at all, really just, to be honest, a bad gank without any proper setup with vision. And there is Tronen, who read it all, he knew it was going to happen. Yamero as well, now talking about the way Yamero has been playing with his global pressure, not using it at all from level 6, has the advantage in mid lane when he gets, as the package takes a little bit longer to arrive for Alec, now using teleport to get back and just getting that farm instead, as Alec opts to walk back, even ignoring his special delivery package, as he will use it later to go for the objectives instead.
That is something that good Corki players will do. Do not automatically pick up a package every time you leave the base. I do think a big story of the game is told in the item builds of nDurance Gaming though. Look at what they have chosen to wear on their feet. 4 Ninja Tabai so far. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a 5th onto nOnDisc as well. And with 3 auto-attack reliant champions and 2 tanks on the team of Roligan, it's a great choice and something that could really hurt Roligan if we are going late. Soul damage dealers being auto-attackers, all of them, Corki, Caitlyn, Jax, so easy to shut down with the Ninja Tabai and with picking up perhaps even more armor items.
Yeah, versus the Corki, of course, deals like 70%, 75% magic damage, but still a lot of it comes from auto-attack. The Ninja Tabai actually going to be great, even though it doesn't have any extra magic resist built in. But again, as you draw down bottom lane, now nDurance is sort of starting pushing, getting caught out here by touch. Cosmic Radiance is used. It's going to keep Keaton alive, but here comes the rest of Roligan as Keaton has nowhere to run, very mobile on his Taric. Going to save Croxy, but that is all he gets. The Cosmic Radiance, like, it only saves you for a few seconds when you get caught out like that, and that's the big problem with Taric right now. nDurance from being in a early lead up top lane, then falling behind, and now getting control again of the bottom lane instead.
Yeah, Infernal Dragon will be started up. Very big objective for nDurance. Scales really well with the Infernal Dragon packages here, though. TP on nDisco as well.
Ronan is looking for the engage together with Alec. Dragon is almost down on half HP. Roligan still going, and you're still going for it. Roligan looking for the fight, looking for Smite, still not quite gonna get it, and that's gonna sacrifice their jungler immediately. Follow-up fight still there as Heku is the one tacking it up, coming in with the hero's entrance. Yamero is there to save him together with Nihus now. That's Croxy turning back again. A very low nDisco has to run away from the fight as Alec just tries to mop it up. Very low players, but oh, the flash scene! Oh. And the stun and the taunts, everything is there, knocking him up in the air and finishing the job together with Aziter. In the end, those are 2 kills for 1 for nDurance. They get the dragon as well, so nDurance are quite happy with that.
Yeah, great to get double Infernal with such a team that you have multiple members building AD as well as AP, but the big story of that fight was a 5v4. Top TP coming in though.
Teleport is there. Nandis not looking to end this fight just yet, but Glacial Prison is going to capture him. Shield is there, Exhaust as well, but oh, he gets out. And now instead it's Croxy in a bad position, has to flash out with the help of Tron and gets out of that position, but Aziter down bottom lane dies 1 versus 1 with Alec, who just has his Trinity Force together with the Sorcerer's Boots, does so much damage.
Absolutely great play right there, and I think Alec is the big hope for Roligan right now. Proxy on this Caitlyn is at a point where Caitlyn really is not that strong of a champion. Also looks to be going for the Ninja Tabai on the boots as well, so won't be providing as much damage as you perhaps want to. Nihus in his top lane is absolutely shut down. 99 CS at 18 minutes. Those are words that will make any top laner get a bad gut feeling. So it's really up to Alec right now on this super scaling Corki, who's gotten the call proc already, to be the big carry for the team.
Yeah, a very important thing to note though is that Aziter actually got the bottom lane turret at least. So, I mean, looking at the global perspective, it's 1 turret each. nDurance still has those 2 dragons, but absolutely Alec is the, yet again, the main carry, with Croxy being the secondary carry for his team, and Nihus kind of still struggling just to stay in the game. Although with all of the help he has gotten up top lane, sure, 99 CS is really bad for him, but to be honest, like nDisc is not in a good position either, with only 138 CS at 18 minutes. Both of these players have been focusing so much on the fighting that they're actually falling behind in the gold department.
Oh, what is nDisco doing?
nDisco again has been caught out, and Nihus is the one who gets the kills, and I'm not quite sure what nDisco is doing. Yet again and again, he keeps getting caught out. Sure, Camille is very strong. Sure, he's winning 1 versus 1, even with the rest of the team picking up the global objectives. Of course, it's good for them to get the Rift Herald, knowing that the jungler is down bottom lane, but nDisco has not been the big player for this game. Just as I say that, Alec being the super carry you talked about before, picking up a double kill, 1 versus 2 up top lane. No response from Heku as he knew that he could not arrive there on time. Mid lane turret as well going down, and Roligan all of a sudden just taking back the map.
What is nDurance doing? They are falling apart right now. Touch and Aziter dying 2v1 against Alec. This Cork is coming up absolutely huge, and Touch with a misstep there on towards the Braum. nDisco keeps playing aggressively here though.
nDisco in a 1 versus 1. Can he do it this time? This is the big fire, like this is the test. He can't handle the 1 versus 1 anymore. Nihus is back. And he's still being chased down though. Oh no, Nihus does not have his Counter-Strike. There it is! Counter-Strike is there. He gets it. Will he be able to get the last attack? No, he does not! With the shield from nDisc keeping him alive just the second he needed for Yamaru to arrive. But this actually tells us a lot about this top lane matchup right here.
Yeah, this is starting to become such a chaotic game, and I think that favors nDurance. I think the longer the game goes, the more open the map becomes when the tower goes down, the more space there is for Yamato, nDisco, and Heku to try to find these sort of catches. In the long lanes without the towers, that's when this Camille, Galio, Jarvan combo will thrive when it comes to finding these big engagements. I also think that nDurance would be the team that would benefit the most from starting to group up right now. They have a strong team comp when it comes to forcing the 5 versus 5 engagement, specifically with on the hunt from the Sivir coming in as a big engagement tool. I don't think we've been seeing a single Sivir ulti for a team fight yet, which could come to hurt them later on. I think they need to use that ability to start snowballing this game.
Yeah, they really need to group up just to make sure that Azitoro does not get caught out by Alex again. Neither 1 versus 1 or 2 versus 1 at that, as that did not work out either for him and Touch. So Alec being a huge pressure on the map, although his special delivery was just used. He tried to find Nanodisk bot lane, did not quite get it. Has some cooldown instead, but here is Heku getting caught out, tries to flash away, but gets killed in the air as he does it. And Nandisk now, in the 1 versus 1 with Nihus, is losing big. And Baron even started by Roligan. Oh! They have his button on the wards. They're still going for it. Teleport coming in. The Cosmic Radiance is going to keep them alive. They're going to get this Baron, actually. Glacial Fissure is going in, tries to stop them. They get the Baron, starts up the fight. This is a 5 versus 3 at the moment, as Roligan right now, with the Baron buff, are simply chasing down nDurance. Going to even be able to defend this turret, I believe. Sending Alec up top lane, does not want to lose another turret, don't want to get that global gold over to nDurance. And that was a big risky move by Roligan, but they managed to pick up a Baron at 22 minutes with no response from NDG, as they did not predict that to happen.
Big risk right there, pays off in the end, and good use of the Cosmic Radiance as well. Will lose the tier 1 mid to the Rift Herald right now, I do believe, but that is perfectly worth it with the Baron buff getting picked up. Will it actually go down?
They get stopped. Oh no, it goes in, but still, having lost that much HP does not deal so much damage to the turret, as Rift Herald deals damage depending on how much HP it has left. So turret's still standing. Roligan getting control of this game, finally getting a dragon, although a little bit unlucky. It's the Cloud Dragon, and with their team comp, of course, it's never bad to get a free dragon, but considering that nDurance has gotten 2 Infernal Dragons for free this game, it can't feel that great to only get the Cloud Dragon when you're finally in the lead.
One of the big downsides of this big engage comp that you've got is that you're sacrificing wave clear. Sure, the Galio can clear the wave if he's able to get up close and personal with it. Also, the Sivir's got some good wave clear, but since you have to stay at such long range with the zoning coming in from the Caitlyn traps and the poke coming in from the Caitlyn and the Corki, these sieges are going to be really hard for nDurance to defend. Sure, they've got the Braum to kind of deny a little bit of that, but the turrets are falling right now, even though there's no banner of command on Roligan. nDisco is on bot side with the TP available, though there are some good TP wards potentially in the top side jungle, but Roligan won't overcommit here. They will recall after getting a couple of towers there.
Roligan playing a smart game. nDisco is just going to push this wave in and then quickly disappear. I just said, but actually goes for the Krugs as well. Might actually be caught out even, but no. Nihus deals a hefty amount of damage at this point, as he has now got caught up and maybe even gone beyond. Yes, he's actually now beyond in gold in comparison to nDisco, even though he's still quite far behind, looking at only the CS. With the global gold of his team, with the Baron buff as well, nDisco is not in a position where he can split push anymore.
And I think the key when we look back on this game is the first package getting used in the top lane and then giving the solo gold over to Nihus. That is what prevented this top lane from snowballing out of control for nDurance, and that was such a good decision for Roligan. Right now, though, they do have the Baron. With a split push from Nihus, I think this is a good choice. Go for a 4-1 with this comp, it's perfectly fine. Try and get this tower down in the 1v1 situation. Looks like they're actually going to be roaming 5 people bot side.
5 versus 2 starting up. This is amazing, the amount of damage they got, picking off the double kill immediately in just seconds. That is nDurance top and jungler falling. And with them comes the hefty price of turrets and more global gold to Roligan, as Roligan are all of a sudden looking like the completely dominant team between these two. They lost game 1.
Are they gonna go for the finish?
Are they going for the finish, really? This is huge. Roligan going in, shooting on the Nexus turrets.
10 seconds on Heku.
1 turret down, they're backing off. Not daring to go any further, but still getting the turret. The Nexus getting the inhibitor. 26 minutes in versus nDurance. Of course, they want to play as quickly as they can. They're still up versus a nDurance. With 2 Infernal Dragons, they got the Sivir, of course, who still has a lot of DPS. But oh my god, look at this! Alec unstoppable as he catches Azidor out of position. Teleport even coming in. Gonna try to chase down Touch as he is so low. Avoiding the ace in the hole with the help of Heku. But still, I mean, minions are still here.
Alec is so huge. He is carrying this team by himself. Roligan might be looking for the finish. Minions are coming in. This is so close, Sang. nDurance needs to make a last stand.
nDurance really needs to start fighting this out. They can't just wait it. Here comes the Cosmic Radiance. They're going in just as Cosmic Radiance has been finished channeling. That means everyone are right now indestructible in Roligan as Alec is dominating, picking up the kill on Nanodisco, chasing down Touch, going for the turrets as well. Neus on the front line with the counter-strike, gonna avoid the concussive blows. Now focus onto the tank of Jameru. He's not tanky enough. Instead, they're gonna focus on the Nexus now, just as they're starting to lose out on the fight. Nexus about to go down. Neus is there. The taunt hits completely on Cruxy. Can he get it one more auto attack? And he does! Neus, after being the underdog the entire game, losing 1 versus 1 up top lane, is instead the one who finishes it off. 2-1 versus nDurance Gaming as Roligan are the final victors.
That was the closest game we've seen by far when it comes to the finish, and what a Cinderella story for Nihis. Like the ugly duckling getting bullied early on, like half CS in the top lane, and then just puts on the carry pants, finishes off the game. Seriously though, I think Alec was like contributing at least 50% of his team's damage there.
I think Alec was like not only 50%, like he was the main DPS for his team, and especially again on Azidor, like capturing him out of position time and time again, getting past Touch, even ignoring the Braum as he could pick him up 2 versus 1 even. But yeah, definitely Nihus getting that final attack on the Nexus gotta feel so good after playing from behind for the, like, I think 15 minutes into the game. He still was so behind. And it was all from the 1 versus 1 fighting in the early stage, really. So losing the lane, winning the game, that's gonna feel good.
Lose lane, win game, that's the story for Nihus right now. And overall, both of these teams showing some clear strengths and some clear weaknesses. None of them look undefeatable because they lost the game, obviously, but they are also
that's some
showing
good insight.
yeah, I'm the analyst here, you know, the expert.
Yeah,
no, but seriously, showing some good strengths and some weaknesses that other teams can definitely abuse in future games. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these teams learn from these games and takes it forward.
Yeah, absolutely. We still have a few more days where these teams have an opportunity to go all the way to playoffs for those 4 spots up in the top. But for today, that was everything we had. We want to thank you for sticking around with us, and do not miss out as we will be back on Thursday.